Tonight, a battle to control the state of Sinaloa, Mexico. With burning buses in the streets and travel restrictions in place after the son of El Chapo, Ovidio Guzman, was arrested by the Mexican military in what they say was a joint operation.
There's no denying that El Chapo is possibly the most well-known cartel leader. And despite his now being incarcerated, his deadly legacy lives on through his three sons. One in particular, Ovidio Guzman Lopez, has risen to prominence, with his own arrest causing an intense confrontation with the Mexican authorities, as well as an aftermath that will shock you. In today's episode, we'll delve into the daring military operation that led to the arrest of Ovidio Guzman Lopez, El Chapo's son. We'll explore why he chose to stay in the small town of Jesus Maria despite the many risks, and learn about the role of the El Raton sicarios who surrounded him. We'll also reveal what was found inside his house, painting a chilling picture of his life as a ruthless drug lord. Make sure to tune in right to the end of today's bite-sized organized crime recap as we reveal the details of this shocking story of a young leader's downfall from the world of the Mexican cartels. El Chapo's legacy. Ovidio Guzman Lopez arrested. Joaquim El Chapo Guzman was formerly a powerful figure in the narcotics trafficking world. He was born on April 4, 1957 in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, the underprivileged community of La Tuna. El Chapo struggled from a young age due to his poverty-stricken upbringing. However, his path to notoriety started when he got involved in drug trafficking in the late 1970s. As time passed, El Chapo ascended the power structure with cunning and tenacity. He quickly rose to prominence in the Sinaloa cartel, helping it to become one of the world's most infamous and powerful drug cartels. He passed his legacy to his son Ovidio, otherwise known as El Raton, who later became known for his criminal intelligence and abilities to outrun law enforcement agencies. Ovidio Guzman Lopez was born on March 29, 1990 to his father's second wife. Ovidio was raised in Mexico and spent 4 years of education at a school run by the Legionnaires of Christ. His life events, even at a young age, were shaped by the crimes and reputation of his father. Based on some stories, Ovidio was even excluded from school trips as families of other children did not want their children in his presence. Ovidio's upbringing was far from ordinary due to the wealthy and powerful family he was raised in, a family that had the stain of drug trafficking over their name. Ovidio's life would be distinguished by both privilege and danger, putting him on a turbulent path with a notorious legacy to live up to. El Chapo's legacy had a profound impact on his son. Being the offspring of one of the most notorious drug lords in history, Ovidio was thrust into a world of power, wealth, and danger from a young age. His father's influence and reputation as the Sinaloa cartel leader loomed large over his life, shaping his actions and decisions. El Chapo's notoriety and ability to evade capture were a model for his son's escapades with the law. Ovidio's repeated arrests and daring escapes mirrored his father's audacious tactics, propelling him to become the drug lord he was destined to be. The weight of his father's legacy both pushed and burdened him at the same time, fueling his determination to maintain control over the cartel while constantly evading law enforcement. In a small village called Jesus Maria in the center of Sinaloa, everyone knows one another, and on the surface, all appear serene. This village is at the heart of the notorious Sinaloa cartel, however, and beneath the tranquil exterior is a ruthless world of drug trafficking worth millions upon millions of dollars. Ovidio was involved in the family business as early as 2008 and rose to become his father's key lieutenant. Following El Chapo's arrest, the eyes of the U.S. and Mexican anti-drug forces turned towards the cartel's new leadership of Ovidio and his brothers, Ivan Archivaldo Guzman, Jesus Alfredo Guzman, and Ishmael El Mayo Zambada. On October 17, 2019, the National Guard arrested Ovidio. Instead of this being the end of his freedom, however, the world witnessed the young cartel leader's daring when he discovered a brilliant scheme to win his release. Over 700 heavily armed men sprang into action, threatening to inflict violence on innocent civilians in protest, and the apartment complex where military members' family lived was attacked. Ovidio, or El Raton, the Mouse as he was starting to be known as, beat the odds and was released, shocking many in the Mexican government. However, the decision to release him was approved by the president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, in order to prevent any civilian bloodshed. The cartel's response to their leader's arrest was a blatant display of power that showed the Sinaloa cartel's ruthlessness and ingenuity. As the news of El Raton's dramatic escape spread, everyone worldwide watched in awe. The headlines emphasized both the cartel's power and the government's incompetence, with people around the globe watching to see if the Mexican government could tame the Sinaloa cartel. However, nobody realized that this was only the start of the standoffs. The events of 2019 were a foreshadowing of a far bolder and more surprising development that would seize Jesus Maria and forever alter its history. This event and other escapades similar to this are what led to Ovidio becoming known as El Raton. Ovidio had experienced run-ins with the law previously, but despite this, he consistently eluded capture, displaying a sly brilliance that can only come from being raised in an organized crime family. He escaped the most stringent security measures, ran away from captures, and confused investigators. El Raton was shrewd, but the pressure on the Mexican government to deal with him and other cartel leaders grew, especially with the US watching their every move with keen interest. In early 2023, the Mexican government began a risky military operation to capture Ovidio Guzman Lopez, with turmoil breaking out in the formerly tranquil village of Jesus Maria, as the military and members of the Sinaloa cartel engaged in frightening combat. Bullets whistled, helicopters hovered menacingly above, and the serene streets of Jesus Maria descended into utter chaos. The tension in the air was tangible, and the sounds of gunfire echoed through the town, leaving no one untouched by the raw brutality of the conflict. After a protracted struggle, the government captured El Raton, leaving the town scarred and permanently altered. El Chapo's legacy also cast a haunting shadow over Jesus Maria, a compelling story of power, survival, and the murky underbelly of one of the largest drug distribution operations in the world. Lives were lost as the destiny of El Raton hung between life and death. The Sinaloa cartel and the military engaged in a fierce battle after the government made a daring attempt to capture him. It resembled a thrilling showdown in the community. El Raton's final stand was made on the battlefield of the fortified stronghold where he felt powerful. Jesus Maria understood the gravity of El Raton's legacy because it was serious. After the war, there were casualties, but eventually El Raton met his fate. Despite his efforts to live up to his father's legacy, fate eventually caught up with El Raton as the result of an intense military operation in Jesus Maria. The legacy of El Chapo cast a long shadow over his son's life, culminating in a dramatic and devastating confrontation that left lives lost, properties destroyed, and Jesus Maria forever marked by the impact of the drug trade. When the dust settled and the sun risen on a new day, the haunting aftermath revealed a town forever altered. The scars of the conflict ran deep, traumatized residents, properties reduced to ruins, and the indelible mark of El Chapo's legacy cast upon Jesus Maria. This gripping tale of power, survival, and the dark underbelly of the drug trade captured the world's attention. This was not just another arrest, it was a clash of titans, a story that questions the very nature of justice and the far-reaching consequences of those who wield immense power. The drug trade is forever changed by Ovidio El Raton Guzman, previously regarded as one of the most powerful drug lords in the world. Law enforcement officials are baffled by his intelligence and capabilities to run a massive criminal enterprise at such a young age, and the public is captivated by it. El Raton's ability to escape from maximum security facilities twice left investigators perplexed and looking for explanations. His evasiveness added to the mystery surrounding him and gave the impression that he was unstoppable. His extraordinary exemption inspired the creation of many documentaries and series. People are interested in his exceptional attempts for freedom and how he ditched the Mexican military. Though he became more notorious, people still wanted to know about his role in the drug world. El Raton's rocky journey of escaping the law dramatically ended in Jesus Maria, where a deadly military operation led to his capture. The horrific operation between the Mexican military and Sinaloa cartel members took many lives and changed the city's image. El Chapo's legacy shattered the whole city until the brave venture by the Mexican government ended it once and for all. With a path of destruction and shattered lives, the conflict between the Mexican military and the Sinaloa cartel has permanently altered the reputation of northern Mexico for the rest of history. El Raton was previously convicted in the United States for 10 counts of criminal activities, such as drug trafficking and other firearm-related charges. His most recent arrest is the result of an operation that involved 200 Special Force agents. Citizens of the multiple regions were urged to seek shelter in the house as clashes between the law enforcement personnel and armed cartel members erupted. El Raton's most recent arrest resulted in the death of 19 suspected gang members and 10 military personnel. It's yet to be seen if Ovidio's rule of the Sinaloan cartel will be completely or partially ended, with him facing the possibility of life in prison. What is known for sure, though, is that in this case, the apple has definitely not fallen far from the tree, with Ovidio's ruthless rule of the cartel living up to the legacy of his father, El Chapo.